Oh, welcome back to Nolan Knows Podcast. Week 6 in the books. Amazing how fast this season goes. It's honestly incredible. Have fun every single weekend. And Paul had a great weekend. Apple picking. Got some nice Granny Smiths for the boys. Making some apple pie with the girl. Paul, how we doing?
Doing good. None of that happened, but I did have a good week. No apple picking. So, week 7, big college football weekend, obviously. And we are joined by a friend, special guest, Justin Andronico. Cookie, welcome to the pod. Happy to have you here. Excited to talk ball with you. I was going to say, none of my friends know college football more than you, I would say. The work I saw you putting in when we were on the bachelor party, I was like, this guy lives, breathes college football. I love it. Welcome to the pod.
What's up, fellas? I appreciate it, man. Super stoked to break down these games and pick your guys' brains.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Damn, dude, even doing research on the bachelor party?
Oh, it doesn't stop. 365.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, pen and paper, old school.
Hey, man,
Absolutely.
whatever works.
Yeah.
All right, recapping last week, Nolan May went 7-2, 32-17 through week 6, 65% right now. I mean, how are you not riding these right now? It's just crazy. Paul 4-4 last week, 26-16 overall, and a nice 60% right now. And before we get into any group chat and any comments, I just need to throw a shout out to the Mets. Big win. Advance to the NLCS. Had to throw that out there to the Philly fans, throw some shade. But congratulations to them.
Cook, how's your season been so far?
I ride waves, so we had a nice big wave the first couple weeks. The last 2 weeks have kind of cooled off a little bit, but we're definitely up on the air.
Yeah, I know you change your units all over the place.
Oh yeah,
like,
just
depending on
whatever
the game,
comes to me as
obviously.
I'm typing.
Yeah, well, that's good. Up is good.
Up is good, yes sir.
All right. Any
Jacksonville
comments?
State, not good.
Oh, man. The Wednesday.
70-yard touchdown to break the over. God
Different
damn, turn
breed.
it off.
What is it, like almost 2 months of just football every day, including NFL,
Yeah,
obviously?
53 days, something like that. I think I saw a Instagram post.
Is there anything better than that?
Nothing.
All right. Any group chat comments we need to touch on?
The only thing I'd say, a lot of hype for this episode. Cookie being on the pod, got the boys riled up, going to bring some excitement, some noise. I got to address right off the top here the little bit of a silent feud, I think, from Nolan. Doesn't even really know what's going on, but the Cookie-Nolan rivalry with the picks.
Absolutely. I got a text one weekend when you guys were at a wedding that one Connor was mocking a play that Jay and myself had put in, which at the end of the night was a loser, so maybe he was right. But then from that point on, everyone needs a little rivalry in their life.
Oh, yeah. It makes it better. But I will say, I think Jay probably over-exaggerated what I said, so I'll leave it at that.
I would probably say that's true. I can agree with that.
I've been middleman in this situation for about 2 years. I mean, everyone knows I'm a big Switzerland kind of guy. Mattia especially will know that. And it's been funny to be on both sides of it. Connor really hasn't had much of an idea what's going on, and I know it was a big thing with Cookie and Jay and the crew. So
yeah,
I'm glad we cleared the air on it. It's great to just talk college football with the both of you, obviously. And, yeah, let's get in it. So, other than that, no noise, really. Like I said, just excitement for this week. Special guest on the pod. It's a big slate, baby. I mean, last week wasn't a big slate. Ended up being crazy, but I think this one's going to produce as well.
For sure. Hey, ended up getting some winners in there. But before we move on, John D'Arco always leaving a comment, so I got to give him a shout-out. Wish that Japanese call was real. We're going to need an Ichiro in the NFL before Japan cares about American football. Baby's coming tomorrow, so I'll be on the couch Saturday with a new guy riding the pods picks. Keep it up. Congrats, John. Hope you're enjoying yourself with the new baby. I'm sure it'll keep you busy.
Yeah, confirmed. Luca John D'Arco. Shout out. Number 2 fan.
Nice, nice. All right. College football news stories. Anybody got anything?
You got nothing?
Nah, I got some stuff, but
Start us off.
So parlay lost. Mizzou was the only loss. One Minnesota and Florida, so that sucked. But
Yeah.
we're close to it. We're close to it.
Yeah, we're getting there.
You know, a lot of upsets last week. Vandy over Bama. I mean, we'll get into this, but Arkansas over Tennessee and Washington over Michigan. And I was going to ask the fellas, what do you guys think of the realignment conferences so far? You like it?
Cookie starts off.
I think the thing I like the best is that there's fucking great games every week. So in that regard, from like a TV product, yeah, it's sweet. But I don't necessarily love the fact that Miami's flying to Cal, and then Cal next week is flying to Virginia. Like, that shit's stupid. But in terms of what we get to watch, these bangers every week are because of it. So, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. I like it more than I dislike it, just because you get these big time matchups during the season. And I think the playoff adding to 12 has made things even more exciting, because while you're not out with a loss, it still is kind of like devastating. And now, like Georgia, for example, they got a loss. Bama has a loss. Let's say Texas falls off for some reason or something. Georgia and Alabama will meet in the SEC title game, and that's just as big as a game as it was before. Like, you want the bye. The team that ends up with 2 losses, it's not necessarily a shoo-in to get in. I mean, they probably will, but I really don't think it cheapens the regular season much at all. These big matchups have been fucking awesome. Like, just having these name brands face off against each other, I think it's an overall win for sure.
Yeah, I agree too with you guys. I mean, you're getting these new matchups, but they're huge. Like, I mean, we have Ohio State at Oregon this week. I mean, like, as a conference game, it's awesome. But I agree with Cookie too. They're gonna have to figure out the schedule with that, going from West Coast to East Coast, East Coast to West Coast. It's definitely tough on these kids. Something new that they're gonna have to adjust to for sure.
Yeah, fair.
All right, moving on to Rutgers Oklahoma segment. I'm going to start off with Rutgers since Oklahoma had a bye, but Rutgers went into Nebraska plus 6.5 dogs, and they lose 14-7. And this was me and Paul were both on this on Nebraska. It's just Rutgers just does not have a quarterback, is what it comes down to. Honestly, this guy throws 2 picks, gets a TD late, Kaliak Manis, and it's not a team that you're going to see in the playoffs make any noise, really. It's just they need to do better on offense. They need to get a fucking quarterback on this team. I've been saying it all along. They're a good team. I'll give them that. But at the end of the day, you're not going anywhere with this, unfortunately. But that's my 2 cents on it. That's what I think. But at least we both got the win on that one.
Is he better than Gavin Wimsatt?
I'll give him that. He's better than him.
Yeah, he
Cookie's
is.
a Rutgers fan, isn't he?
Of course, yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway was what they did in the second half when they started playing more zone and forcing Raiola to kind of hit some targets, and he was not hitting them. So I feel like it taught me more about what's going to happen in the future for other teams playing Nebraska, because a good secondary, and I don't know if I like Nebraska.
It was kind of shocking to see how much their offense struggled. I mean, I know Rutgers has good defense, but, 14 points is like nothing in this day and age in college football. It was really the turnover that killed Rutgers. You score 14 points, you're usually going to lose outside of like an Iowa, right? So I agree. I think it definitely said a little bit more about Nebraska. Rutgers, good team, but with that offense, there's just a ceiling for sure. And, Nebraska has at least shown in different points throughout the year that their offense can get moving. It's definitely better than Rutgers. But yeah, they might struggle as they step up in competition. So we'll see. It was a fucking boring ass game too, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch any of it, but that's
okay.
all right.
Respect.
All right. Recapping week 2 picks and some other games. Syracuse won over UNLV outright on Friday night. I won that one. Paul lost the under on that one. And all Cuse does, I don't know if you guys watch this game, but all they do is fucking throw the ball. McCord threw the ball 63 times in that game. It's just absolutely ridiculous, that offense. But
Wild. I didn't watch too much of it, but I did see the highlights. I stayed away. I think I said in one of the chats that I favored UNLV, but I think that maybe Marcus kind of caught up to UNLV. They were like a surprise good team throughout the first 4 or 5 weeks, but I think the secret is kind of out on them now. And I was surprised that Cuse was able to score as much as they did, because I had a lot of respect for the UNLV secondary. That safety they got from Texas, Catalan or whatever his name is, he's really good, but he had kind of a tough game.
yeah, both teams, I mean, they're both pretty good, I think. So I think they'll make some more noise. UNLV in the Mountain West and everything, and Cuse in the ACC, both lower talent levels for sure.
Yeah.
A&M and Mizzou, absolute blowout. Mizzou, contender or pretender, who the hell knows? But I went with Mizzou here. I said I was going to lay off, and I didn't, but bad idea on my part. Cookie, you have anything in that game?
A&M all day. The
Nice.
line, just read it.
Yep.
That was a good pick for sure.
That was a smart side for sure, yep.
Red Hot SMU traveled to Louisville, and they won that one outright. I know, Cookie, you were talking about that one. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, I had Louisville -7. I thought it was a great bet. Closed 7.5. Beat the line a little bit. That defense is trash. Louisville's defense is no good, and that's what I learned. And I lost.
What?
Taking notes for future.
I lost a little bit of track of SMU here. What is Preston Stone is no longer their quarterback. Hasn't been for a
Trash,
while,
bro.
right? But is the new guy like he's that good?
He's got legs, so it
He's
just
got
adds a
legs.
different variety to the offense that makes it better.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah, they look good so far now. Pitt went into UNC. That was actually one of my favorite plays this past weekend. It was a little struggle in the first half, but Pitt ended up pulling away. I think they won 34-24, so that was a nice hit. I enjoyed that. Ohio
I
State
sweated
took
the over a little bit.
what was that at?
63.5. It got there,
okay.
but it wasn't as easy as it should have been.
Yeah. Ohio State took on Iowa. Close game, 7-0 for I think the first half. Ohio State ended up breaking it open in the second half. Ended up winning 35-7, and Paul got the W on that one. A little sweat, but at least he prevailed. I gotta say, Iowa's defense doesn't look like it's as good as what it used to be. Like we see the typical Iowa defenses going out
I feel
there.
like we learned that in the Iowa State game.
Yeah. UConn won 29-20 over Temple. Paul had the 17-point spread on that one, but unfortunately did not cover.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it, but I don't know. I just think so poorly of Temple. Apparently, UConn.
Fade Evan Simon, ex-Rutgers quarterback.
Yeah.
Indiana.
But he's Temple quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah, Temple, my bad.
So,
no, I said former Rutgers quarterback. So if you get cut by Rutgers or they tell you to leave, you gotta suck, is what my determination
Well, he
is.
covered, though, so. But
True.
anyway.
Indiana Northwestern turned out to be a high-scoring game. Indiana could put up points, evidently. Has put up over 40 points in their last 5 games. Paul took the under on this one and lost, unfortunately.
Yeah, got smoked. I was expecting it to be a low-scoring game, and Northwestern not score any points. On that high school field they got on the lake there, it just didn't work out that way.
Big one, Vandy over Bama, huge upset. Diego, Pavia, and Jerry Kill doing some good work over there at Vandy. Cookie, you had the money line on this one, right, man? Vanderbilt?
I wish. I did. I was smart enough. I would have taken Bama, but not after the big Georgia win. I had nothing.
Oh, you had Georgia in that one? Or you had Bama in that one?
After Bama beating Georgia, I wasn't taking the -24.5 against Vandy.
What was your big play last week, if you don't mind me asking?
The late night special, Texas Tech.
Man, I was on Zona, but that's a good play by you.
Yeah,
Fucking
plus
won
185
outright.
on the money line. I Had to win
Mm.
it all back on the late night. You know how it is sometimes.
No. Oh yeah, late night Hawaii games. Except Hawaii kind of sucks, so it's not as fun.
Not as
Uh,
electric, but ESPN fills that 11:15 slot pretty good.
yeah, it keeps us up late. I actually enjoy that on a Saturday night. Clemson over Florida State. Florida State's still the fade team of the year. Paul covered this one. I forget how much they won by, but they covered that 14
It was like
14 point
20
spread.
or
Yeah,
18 or something like that. But yeah, I think we all kind of threw Clemson into the trash after week one discourse when they got smoked by Georgia. But I think they're a pretty good team. I mean, they've been beating the shit out of teams, honestly. And then even this FSU game, they one-handedly, as FSU, like you said, still the fade team of the year. They suck. Watch out for
trash.
Clemson, man. They could come back and sneak the ACC for sure.
Did they take out DJ yet? DJU? I didn't even look at that,
I
but
believe
they fucking should.
They did.
Because he sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Another upset. Tennessee went down against Arkansas. Me and Paul went head-to-head on this one. Arkansas with the outright win. And maybe Tennessee is not as good as everybody thought. We'll see this week. They got a tough matchup going down to Gainesville, Florida. And Florida's on a 2 or 3 game win streak, so they're feeling themselves a little bit. So we'll see how Tennessee bounces back this week. Washington over Michigan. Me and Paul both had this one. And Washington, I think we're favored by 2.5. Ended up getting the win, I think, by 10 points. So good by them. I think that's a good team, honestly. I think Rutgers stole that game from them. And I think Washington's a team to watch out for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Florida
And I
over
just think Michigan's kind of ass.
Yeah, I mean, fucking quarterback's name is Orgy, man. I can't get over it.
Yeah, well, he's not even their quarterback.
Florida
anymore.
over
I
UCF.
think,
Nolan won this
that other
one.
guy was
I
starting.
don't think we talked about it a lot last week, but just like Florida, I think UCF sucks too. So
Yeah.
Georgia Tech over Duke. One of my favorite plays, but I got lucky on this one. They ended up winning by 10 and covered that 9-point spread. Miami Cal, another late one. Coke versus Woke turned out to be a good game. Cal winning most of that one, and Miami with another comeback win at the end, and Coke prevailed at the end. Thank God.
Yeah, a couple of really funny signs from the game that I was seeing on social media. One was talking about, I forget what the name of the quarterback it is, but it was like his name for Heis person instead of Heis man. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And then Zona lost outright to Texas Tech, as we just touched on. Cookie's play of the week last week, and I had Zona, unfortunately, lost. So, any other games you guys want to touch on from last week?
No, let's get through the recap and let's fire off week 7 here.
All right. So, first off, Friday Night Lights. Got, for the premier games, Friday night, Utah at Arizona State in Tempe. Utah coming in as actually -4 now. Line went down from -6, over under 45.5. Cookie, why don't you take this one away if you got anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole thing with Utah is everyone talked about the defense. I don't think it's as good this year as it's been in the past. So I think Arizona State, they're having a good year. Dillingham getting that place electric. So I think it'll be a nice home atmosphere on a Friday night. I would take them outright, Arizona State outright. Don't take the points. Who gives a shit?
God, I was on the fence on this one too. I like Arizona State in this one. I like their quarterback. I like their white running back, Scattaboo. Guy looks like
nice.
a maniac. Yeah, he's not bad. Runs hard, always falling forward. It's just Utah is coming off a tough loss. I mean, they have Wilson as quarterback. I'm not a fan of him. I think I'm going to go Arizona State, but I do like Arizona State. I think I might ride that. Paul, you got anything?
Stay away from me. Arizona State's a team I just haven't really caught much of this year. Utah, I have, but like Cam Rising status unclear. It's just such a hard game to like handicap. I feel like so.
Yeah,
I'm
Wilson
staying away.
stinks.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the Saturday games, we got South Carolina traveling to Tuscaloosa, taking on Alabama. Bama coming off that loss, Bama to Vandy, coming in as 21-point favorites, over under 50.5. Honestly, I'm not taking this one because I don't know what the hell Bama's going to do. They might actually just go off because they're so pissed off about that loss last week. So it's a stay away from me.
Give me Alabama on the bounce back, baby. Roll Tide minus 21.
I'd lean South Carolina. I think the Bama secondary is young and inexperienced and not any good, but also Sellers is not the guy who's going to expose them. So if South Carolina had a better passing game, I would love them as a 21-point dog. I think that's enough to keep me off of it.
I'm actually surprised Sellers didn't do anything against Ole Miss last week. Only 3 points against them. I mean, he looked all right against LSU. He got hurt that game, but I was honestly surprised last week. They didn't really put up anything on offense.
I just feel like South Carolina depends so much on their pass rush, and Bama's offensive line is, pretty solid. So I'm hoping that they can neutralize them and kind of have their way, so to speak, on offense. And I think South Carolina's probably going to struggle a little bit, at least to score. So 21's a ton, obviously, in an SEC game, but coming off the loss, I mean, they're going to be playing hard for sure. You don't want to see Bama off of a loss.
No, definitely not.
Under Saban, we don't know about under DeBoer
Well, that's
yet.
fair. Very fair. Good comment.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Big Ten, Fox, 12 p.m. Washington at Iowa. Iowa coming in as 2.5-point favorites. I didn't write down the over-under on this one. That's my bad. But, Paulie, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? I'm going to take Iowa. I feel like the line says maybe take Washington, but I like Iowa at home. I know we just kind of talked about how Washington's a sneaky team to be aware of and how Iowa's defense isn't all that good, but early kick for Washington, home crowd for Iowa. I don't know. Taking Iowa, strictly on vibes, minus 2.5.
Cookie, you got anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about shitty travel. 2 weeks ago, Washington on Friday night played at Rutgers. Last week, they flew home to play the biggest game in a long time with Michigan coming to town. And now they're flying to Cornfield to kick off at noon. They're not going to give a shit about that game. And Iowa, I agree, their defense is not as good, but I still think it's good enough against the average Washington offense. I take Iowa in the points.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with you guys. My first thought when I first saw this game was Washington because I am high on them. I think they got a good offense. I think they have a good defense. But as you mentioned, they went back to they would play at Rutgers, went home, beat Michigan, huge game for them, storming the field. This is like the perfect letdown spot for them. Now traveling to Iowa, and it's so hard to play at Iowa. But Iowa's defense, yeah, not as good. But, their offense is actually better than prior offenses here. So I think Iowa is the play here. I think a lot of people will be on Washington because they see them as underdogs and they just beat Michigan, might hop on that. But I just don't. I can't see them getting up for this one. 9 a.m. game, too, for the West Coast. So yeah, I'm going Iowa as well. It might scare me, actually, now that all three of us are on it, but that's all right.
It's all right.
All right, Wisconsin coming to Rutgers on the banks of the old Raritan. Rutgers minus 2.5, over under 40.5.
I just checked. It's 41.5 now.
41.5 now?
And I will be on that under. Because I don't think Rutgers scores very often, obviously, and when they do, it's usually them grinding out runs.
A lot of time taken.
Yeah, I see here backup quarterback for Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Rutgers,
he hasn't looked bad so far, but losing Van Dyke was
but
definitely
Rutgers'
not
defense
good.
is good. I mean, Wisconsin's offense is worse than Nebraska's offense, I would think, right? So I know you can't really do we held them to 14, so we're going to hold Wisconsin to 14, but I don't know. It's a low over-under total, obviously. Sometimes I like to go on the underside when it's low like this. Yes, that's what I'm riding.
Cookie, what are you thinking?
Oh, man, it's going to be a boring-ass football game. I think the under would be the side to be on, but not really loving betting unders at 41 in any game, so I probably won't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to touch this game, but I do think Rutgers should win this game. because of their defense. Obviously, they're going against. I think he's a freshman quarterback, but a backup nonetheless. So I don't think much experience there. Traveling away to the East Coast, I think it'll be a tough feat for them. All right, moving on. Definitely one of the games of the week for sure. Got the Texas versus Oklahoma Red River Showdown. Can't say shootout on YouTube. We might actually get demonetized. Whoa, dude. Make sure you bleep that out. Playing at Old Cotton Bowl Stadium, one of the best stadiums to watch a game for sure. But this is going to be wild for sure. I think this line actually jumped up to 15. Was at Texas minus 14. But over under 49.5. Paul, I'll let you take this one for your Sooners.
Yeah, so this is another heart versus head type situation. So line right now is 14.5. There's no way in hell I'm taking Texas in this game. Obviously, I'm taking Oklahoma plus 14.5. And let me tell you why I think it can be the right side. So Oklahoma's offensive line, while they've been shitty, has been a little bit of a revolving door of personnel. They're finally healthy for the most part, so that helps, obviously. Having a little continuity. They got their best offensive lineman in there. Top of that, just the pedigree of the game is something to consider. It's always a wacky game. For years, Oklahoma was far and away the better team, and Texas would just make this close. They sometimes would outright win. It's just always a wild game, with the exception of 2 years ago where we literally did not have a quarterback, right? So if you're giving me more than 2 touchdowns in a huge rivalry game at a neutral site with both teams coming off the bye, where you can compare and do a lot of stuff, I'll take the points for sure. I don't expect Oklahoma to win this game, obviously, but I didn't expect them to win it last year. So I'll take the 14.5 points. As far as the game's going to go, dude, our defense, Oklahoma's defense is actually pretty fucking good. So Quinn Ewers, I think, is going to play. He's coming back from injury. Maybe there's a little rust. We kind of beat the hell out of him last year. He did not feel comfortable. He didn't have a great game by any means. We won the turnover battle. I think we could do that again. Brent Venables will have the boys rise to the occasion on the moment. Our wide receivers being banged up still is not good. We probably will have Deion Burks back, but Nick Anderson, who's a big-bodied wide receiver, is definitely out. I saw the injury report. Andrew Anthony is out, so we're still kind of
Did they get any of their wide receivers back, you said?
They're getting Deion Burks back, who's our best wide receiver. Oh, he's questionable, but I think he's going to play. Nick Anderson is not going to play, but Taylor Tatum, our 5-star running back, is going to play as well. Michael Hawkins had that Auburn game where played pretty well. I mean, he's played turnover-free football, right? So if you can play turnover-free football, use his legs a little bit, maybe we break some plays here and there in the run game. I don't know. I could see a path to us covering for sure. Outright winning is probably unlikely at this point. Obviously, Texas looks so far through the year has been the best team in the nation. But it's a rivalry game, and give me the 14.5, baby.
All right. If I were to take anything in this one, I'd take Texas if it went down to minus 14, just because I think Texas has a good defense as well. And I don't like Oklahoma's offense. I was very frustrated watching that a couple weeks ago. So
yeah. That's probably the smart. I let my heart get away with it here, but talk to me, Cookie. Let me hear how I'm right.
So my question is, how good is the Michigan defense? Because Texas shredded Michigan, and people thought it was a good data point. But what if Michigan's defense just isn't that good? And then at that point, Texas has not been tested, and maybe Oklahoma's defense could be the best unit they face this year.
It's a good question. Let me think about it for a second. How good do I really think Michigan's defense is? Well, they've got some star players, obviously, that are super high on the draft board. But overall, they definitely do not look as good as last year. I mean, that's obvious, right? Washington scored 27 against them. I don't think Washington's offense is prolific by any means. I mean, they're solid, but and Tennessee was kind of beating the hell out of teams, and Oklahoma stopped them. Now, it doesn't help that they just lost and scored
Yeah,
whatever they
it's
did against Arkansas. But I mean, either way, like that's still a good offense. I don't know. I think Texas' offense is really, really good, but I think Oklahoma's defense is really good too. So I do think we can slow them down. Um,
I know we were watching that one poolside, but Auburn was moving the ball on Oklahoma more than
they
you would
were.
have wanted
No
them
doubt
to.
about it. No doubt
Hmm.
about it. They were. They were. But yeah, Auburn's offense has kind of been moving the ball all year. They're just very turnover prone.
Yeah,
Um,
very.
but it's a good counterpoint for sure.
Nine of the last 11 have been decided in this game by one score. I agree with Paul that the only side you could
That's
possibly bet is with the points in this game. So I would take the 14 and a half.
Okay. All right, moving on. Penn State, nice stellar new Big Ten rivalry. Penn State traveling on to Southern California, taking on USC. Penn State coming in as 5.5 point favorites, over under 50.5. Cookie, you got anything here?
Yeah, Penn State pretty large. I'd say this is top three favorite bets for the weekend.
Mm,
I don't think USC is any good. I don't think their line is any good. A very middle of the road Minnesota defensive line. Cook them with four-man rush all night long. And Penn State's defense is better than that. I think USC is going to struggle. I think Penn State will be able to establish the run, and it's going to be one of those games by middle of the third quarter. You could just cash it already.
what are
yeah,
your thoughts on Alar?
I think Nicky has unlocked him a decent amount. I think he's got all of the things you want your quarterback to have, and I don't think USC's there's no one goes to their games. Like it's not like it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be the middle of the day. Like I just think they'll be fine to establish the run. He's not going to have to do a ton.
probably be a lot of Penn State fans there, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul, you taking anything here?
I'm not going to take anything. I was leaning towards Penn State, but I don't know. At USC, somewhat of a cross country. You know what? I'm going to ride with Cookie. He says top three bets. Fuck it. Give it to me. Penn
All
State
right.
minus 5.5. I'm on with you.
I'm actually just going to stay away because I think this line should be higher, like you guys are saying, and I don't know why it's not, just because Penn State's defense is actually fucking legit. But I'm also not a big fan of Alar. He just, like, you think he's about to just blow it out, could fucking just take the game over, and he never does. They just don't score points with his ass. So that's the only thing that scares me. I don't think Miller Moss is going to have a great game against this Penn State defense. I just think it might be, I mean, I would go under here if anything, but stay away from me. I don't know how Lincoln Riley's going to do against his defense either, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Ohio State at Oregon. This is such a great game, honestly. I think Oregon's a good team. I mean, my play is actually going to be Ohio State here, -3, because I think Ohio State is the best team in the country. Good, very good defense, great wide receivers, and I love Will Howard as quarterback. And Oregon, I've watched them the last couple of weeks. They get off to such a good start, and then they usually just pump the brakes. But the one thing that scares me, Dylan Gabriel, good quarterback for sure, good college quarterback, but very injury. I mean, not injury. He throws a lot of interceptions in the red zone. He threw 2 last week against Michigan State. He's just making stupid decisions, and if he does continue that, Ohio State's just going to tear him up. He's not going to be able to do anything, and they haven't gone up against a good defense like this yet. So, the only good team they've really gone against is Boise State, and they had a tough run. And Boise State's a good team. Probably has the best running back in the country on their team. But
Probably does.
yeah, very good. But at the end of the day, I'm going Ohio State here. I think they're the better team. I know they're going to Eugene. It's a night game or mid-afternoon game turning into night game over there, but I'm taking Ohio State here. You guys got anything?
I do.
I
Go for it.
I agree. I'm on Ohio State. It's also one of the top three best bets of the weekend for me with Penn State. Let's talk this one through, right? So we got Dylan Gabriel, who got chased out of Oklahoma
Wrongly, obviously.
for the dude who got benched by a freshman who can only run and can't throw. Now you're telling me I expect that kid to play his best game of his career against the best defense in the country? No, thank you. I think Ohio State boat races them.
I will say, so I'm on Ohio State too. I will say, I think Dylan Gabriel is actually pretty good. I get everything you're saying there, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like the Oklahoma program with Jackson Arnold, just the way that worked out. I think Gabriel read into it before they even really approached him. Of like, I need to get out of here because this guy is waiting in the wings and is going to take my job. So I don't know that we really kicked him out, but anyway, I think he will not necessarily be the problem. I just think the Ohio State roster is just more talented. I mean, there's been reports that they have like a $30 million roster. They have Caleb Downs, obviously, from Alabama. The defensive line is studs. They've got both those running backs who are studs. Will Howard's a gamer. Jeremiah Smith, oh my God, dude, that fucking kid is incredible. It's a embarrassment of riches. I get that it's at Oregon and Eugene. They're going to be fired up for sure, but I just think sometimes it's the Jimmies and the Joes, and Ohio State's got the talent.
They're a good football team, but all three of us on Ohio State, I actually do like that. But one thing you got to remind me to do, I want to see what our record is when we agree on picks, and I want to see what that is, because we went 2-0 last week, so we need to check that out.
Yeah, maybe someone in the Twitter followers will start charting that for us.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going back and doing it, I'll be honest.
I'll do it.
All right.
All right, moving on. Ole Miss traveling LSU. Ole Miss coming in at 3.5-point favorites in Death Valley. Over under. Wait, is it Death Valley? I think that's Clemson. Death Valley. Over under.
I think they both are.
Yeah,
but LSU
right.
is the real
That's
Death
fucking
Valley.
confusing.
Clemson's is nonsense.
LSU, it's not even in a fucking valley. You're in the bayou. What the fuck are they talking about?
It's still just much better environment than Clemson. Dude, LSU is like one of the most raucous, rowdy, intimidating environments there is.
Fucking huge stadium.
Yeah, and it's loud.
Over under 63.5. Cookie, you got anything in this one?
LSU money line.
LSU money line, nice.
That Ole Miss offense has not been playing great all year, and Trey Harris is not going to play most likely, and he leads the FBS in wide receiver yards, so receiving yards, and they've been very mediocre. I don't think their offensive line is any good. And my question for the boys is the LSU defense better without Harold Perkins, because their statistic profiles have been much better the last 3 weeks. So for whatever reason, getting him off the field has allowed them to play better defense.
I read something that they were just not using him correctly. He's lining up in like weird spots where he should just line up on the fucking edge and rush the passer, and that's not how they were using him. Like kind of like a James Pierce role, but
I heard he wanted to be more of like a middle linebacker, but I agree. He's a put him on the edge, and it's go get ball, see ball, go get ball.
Yeah, that was like his whole like recruiting profile was like twitchy edge guys. I'm surprised he wants to play in the middle, especially because in like the pros, the edge guy gets the pay, not the like off ball linebacker. So weird switch up for him. I'm staying away from this game. I'm just going to kind of enjoy it. If I had to lean, I don't even know on the side, honestly. I would probably just go with the under because it's a tough SEC matchup, and sometimes those large totals don't hold up in like a rivalry type game like this. I don't know. What do you got, Nolan?
So I'm actually going to be on Ole Miss. I'm on the other side on this one. But
okay.
Reasoning is, I mean, I just don't think LSU has really played anybody so far. We haven't really seen them
they
go
lost
against
to USC, too.
Yeah, who just lost to Minnesota. And then LSU, I mean, are we forgetting how terrible LSU's defense actually is, too? Their secondary is atrocious. They just haven't really faced a good quarterback. And, you know, Jackson Dart hasn't really played anybody yet, and they haven't really put up many points. They lost to Kentucky, but I think Kentucky has a good defense. They beat South Carolina in South Carolina last week, so I think this team is starting to and SEC is wide open right now. with
Oh
everybody
yeah.
losing. So they see something in sights. Lane Kiffin's going to have these guys going. I just think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Obviously, you can see by over/under 63.5. I think both teams are going to score. And Ole Miss's defense has actually been playing pretty well. The most points they've given up in the game is 17 so far. Granted, they haven't played anybody that has a pulse on offense, but I think they could pull this one out. I'm actually going to go Ole Miss on this one.
Okay.
Next game, late night, 10:15, Big 12 matchup. I think these two teams are maybe tied for second. Texas Tech is in first for Big 12, but Kansas State at Colorado. Kansas State -4, over under 56.5. Paul, what are we doing?
We're fading Colorado. I'm going Kansas State -4. Colorado's off the bye. They've actually been pretty good the last few weeks, but I don't know. I think Kansas State is just a little bit of a notch above. They're always a feisty team, so I'm going to take Kansas State -4.
Cookie, what you got?
Oh man, I tried to fade Colorado a couple times this year and got burnt both times, but I think I'm going to continue to do the same, and I would take K-State here. And I just don't buy Colorado. I don't know. I like UCF at -14. That was a fucking terrible bet, so I don't know. But fade Colorado. Take K-State.
So, I actually agree with both of you on this one. I've been riding Colorado a few times this year, which actually panned out, but also, I got lucky as hell. They went on a Hail Mary against Baylor.
Yeah, right.
They beat a shitty UCF team. And now you're playing against Kansas State, who's actually a contender and who thinks they can make the playoffs. I mean, Colorado probably thinks this. But, it's a night game in Colorado. But also, last night game in Colorado was against fucking North Dakota State. And North Dakota State gave them a run for their money. And I don't know. This is probably my favorite play this week, honestly. I think Kansas State's going to beat the shit out of them. Avery Johnson's good dual threat quarterback. Colorado's defense is fucking ass. So I'm going Kansas State here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then that takes care of the premier matchup. So we'll just run through some more plays we got. I'll lead off. So my other plays I'm going to mess with. I'm actually going to take Pitt here against Cal. Cal's was at Florida State 2 weeks ago, East Coast. Traveled back home, took on Miami, had a heartbreaking loss, led that whole game. And now they're going back to the East Coast in Pittsburgh. And Pitt's only -3. Pitt's 5-0 right now. Hornstein's a good quarterback, only a freshman. But, I mean, this kid could throw the ball. I think they're ranked in top 15 in passing yards in the NCAA. So I think Pitt's in a good spot here. Give me them.
I like the over in that one. I've been taking Pitt overs for the last couple weeks now, and I think that Cal offense is explosive enough, and their defense is leaky enough to play that fast Pitt pace and score some points.
Yeah. Cal has been putting up some points. They put up fucking, 38 last week, too?
Yeah.
Make it play. You got anything, Paul?
In this game or in general?
Or no, in general. If you want to throw one out there.
Yeah, I like Kentucky -13.5 against Vanderbilt. Obviously, Vanderbilt coming off of the biggest win in program history. Kentucky, solid team, plays good defense. 2 scores is a little bit more than I would have hoped for the line to be, but I don't know. They're off the bye, I think, too, Kentucky, aren't they?
Yeah, and coming off that Ole Miss win.
Yeah, so they've had time, and I'm just gonna fade the momentum essentially.
All right, Cookie, you want to throw one play out there?
I'm opposite of Paul on that one. I like Vandy.
Okay.
I think they're still getting disrespected. They beat
BT. They're
They
better
should've beat
than
Missouri.
they are, obviously, or than people think. For sure, I agree with you there. Sorry to interrupt.
I got a 3-pack of teams I think are trash that we're gonna fade.
Let's hear it.
Rice is fucking garbage. Take UTSA. Purdue is the worst team in the Big Ten by a metric mile. Take Illinois.
I like that one.
And I think UAB has absolutely quit. They gave up 70 last week, and they scanned to the sideline, and the kids are just laughing like they don't give a shit. All
Oh
right,
boy.
Army's a disciplined team. They're going to punch you in the mouth over and over. Lay them with Army. Lay them with UTSA. Lay them with Illinois.
Quick note too. Army, Navy, both 5-0 right now.
Yeah.
You know, if they're both in the American right now. The American Championship is the week before the Army Navy game. So if they both fucking make the championship, they play each other 2 weeks in a row. Fun fact.
One for a playoff spot and one for American pride.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
You have any,
100%.
any thoughts on this Cincinnati UCF game? Are they like moving it? Is it staying put? But I don't know. Like UCF going to be underwater. I wonder what the hell is going to go on there. I just wonder where like a team's head is when UCF obviously has a ton of people from Florida, so I'm wondering if that like affects.
What
them
I'm
at all.
wondering too is when the fuck is Cincinnati traveling there?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. Like, are they gonna go there Friday night, the night before, and then they got a 3:30 game? Like, that's the only thing I'd really be concerned with. And I do like Cincy in this game. Sorsby's a good quarterback. This Cincinnati secondary sucks, but they're also going against KJ Jefferson at UCF, and they like to run the ball. I mean, he could throw the ball here and there, but not as well as some other guys. And I think Cincinnati is good against the run, and we watched it against Houston. Houston couldn't do shit. It was an awful game, but I think Cincinnati matches up well against UCF here.
It looks like the storm will pass through Orlando before kickoff, so there'll just be some residual rain when they're kicking off. And I agree. I like Cincinnati too. I think UCF, the past 2 weeks have showed me a lot where they were 14-point favorites, lost by 30 to Colorado, and then they got bet really hard last week from like a 2-point dog to a 3-point favorite. Lost the game. They lost to Florida and looked terrible. So I take Cincy.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Cincy +3, and I'm also going to take Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. That's going to be a tough
-3.
game. Northern
is?
Illinois.
Yeah.
Bowling Green
Bowling
is
Green
they
-3.
gave a good game
Penn
to Penn
State.
State, man.
Yeah.
They have some alright games under their belt for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be
one of
an
my
incredible week. And
Yeah, big week. One of my other plays, I know Cookie ain't gonna like this, but I gotta take Louisville here against Virginia. I think Virginia is absolute pretenders, and I think Louisville, they had a tough loss last week, but I think SMU is just red hot right now. I think they're a good team, and then they lost to Notre Dame at Notre Dame, never a good place to play on the road. And I think Louisville needs a bounce back game here. I think it's good against Virginia. Also going to Charlottesville, some people on both sides, good people on both sides. I think those were the words of Trump. Let's not get too disinformation in that. But, I think Louisville will go in there and get the win there and cover that 7. 7.5, I'd probably even take it at 2.
Yeah, I'll ride it with you. Shop around for the 7.
I'm on UVA there for sure.
Yeah.
I think that Louisville
Damn.
defense, well, guess what we'll find out on Saturday, right? That's the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
No matter what we think, they play the game.
Hell yeah.
You know what? One more, too. BYU, Arizona. Did we touch on this at all?
No, but I'm torn on this one.
Yeah, the line screams like Arizona, I think, is begging you to take BYU with that -4 at home. BYU's been a fucking good team. I don't know. Cheesy.
I lean Zona.
You lean Zona. I'm going to take Zona with you. It smells like a rat. +4 Arizona. BYU's luck runs out.
Honestly, Arizona's burned me last week, and they burned me against Kansas State. I did take them against Utah, so I take them 3 weeks straight. So I'm gonna lay off this week and just take a break off them. For
they've lost to Texas Tech though.
But Texas Tech's #1 in the Big 12 right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to do. I'm taking it off the board. No play. We'll look out for an ad maybe.
So
one more thing
for the boys too.
I got one more too. Go ahead.
Go ahead, you first, Paul.
Georgia ugly -33.5.
Oh, Jesus.
Mississippi State's the worst team in the SEC by far. It's not even close. Georgia gonna put it on them. The backups might be in. It doesn't matter. They're gonna work the hell out of them.
What you got, Cookie?
That is an ugly, ugly hold your nose play, but I could
Mm.
not think about betting Mississippi State because they're definitely the worst in the SEC.
Yeah.
I got Wake Forest at home against Clemson plus 20.5.
Mm.
That Clemson defense, I think, is a little overrated because Florida State has zero offense. And if you watch the Stanford game, I was a little heavily invested in Clemson in that game. And Stanford moved the ball like more than I would have wanted them to, and then just kept throwing interceptions or fumbling in the red zone, just kind of doing some dumb shit. I think Wake's offense is going to be able to score just enough to keep that within the number.
Okay.
I don't have any more plays, but one one game I want to throw out there is Iowa State traveling to West Virginia, and Iowa State -3 going to Morgantown. I mean, doesn't that seem a little fishy, or you think this is actually going to be a good game?
Seems fishy.
I think it could be a good game.
West Virginia. I mean, it's always tough playing Morgantown. You never know.
I don't think anyone in the Big 12 is just that much better that I think every game's just kind of going to be a good game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the league of parity for sure. I am losing my mind going back and forth on this Ball State Kent State game, the toilet bowl, if you will. I love betting against Kent State because I read one article that they're the absolute worst team in the FBS.
Hey, it worked out for us once before with Eastern Michigan.
It's worked out for me like 3 times, actually. But Ball State is pretty terrible, too. Kent State is at home getting 7. Ugh. I think I'm going to take Kent State. No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You just said they're the worst team in FBS.
They
so
are.
you going to take them?
With 7 points at home, Ball State might be the second worst team in the FBS.
True.
I don't know. I'm going to stay away, but I'm going to watch the score on my phone.
All right.
You got to be watching the score of every game on your phone, no matter what. That's a guarantee.
For sure. All right. That's good. That's it for picks. Unless you guys got any more, we good?
Yeah, 13 picks for me this week. I'm just excited. I'm just trying to enjoy myself here.
That's what Saturdays are all about. I have something to do every Saturday when it's in the fall, you know. Every Saturday and Sunday. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, apple picking.
Yeah. All right, Cookie, you got some questions? Oh, I got a question for you before we start. Where did this nickname Cookie come from? I don't think I've ever heard this.
Back in the day, the old halls of Hamilton Elementary School.
Jesus,
I was slinging some Chips Ahoy. I used to get my mom to buy me the whole like big ass container and bring that shit to lunch. And then I was like trading, like I'll give you a couple cookies for that whatever fruit roll up. And then that's the origin story. And then all the Hamilton crew went to Rutgers together, so the name traveled me. But then the name has since pretty died most of the time. But only the OG people still call me that.
Like Bordeaux, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a listener.
He's a Hamiltonian through and through. He's a listener? What's up, Jim?
Is he?
I don't know.
I haven't talked to him in 3 years, probably.
I know. He should give us a shout out, a like. God damn. Subscribe, unsubscribe.
At least
Everybody knows
share.
that.
Yeah.
My God. All right. You got any questions for us?
Questions for you. I do feel like we should probably cook a lay for the people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. My questions were about the games. We should cook a lay to get you tweeted out Saturday morning. We'll get the group chat going a little bit.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So we'll wait on that.
Each person to pick.
You like to wait. You want people to watch the pod. I respect it.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about it for sure. That'll be a good one.
All right. You see any look at games for next week? I haven't even looked.
I mean, there's a ton. It's a loaded slate. It might even be more loaded,
Texas, right?
Which is crazy. Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Bama. It's can't miss TV again. Did
Texas look ahead spot?
I don't think they look ahead of the Red River rivalry shootout. But did you see that? And you didn't watch it because you don't have TikTok, but Cookie did.
I don't want the Chinese stealing my identity, dude. Come on.
Dude, it's a great video on the Max Kellerman saying the problem for the NFL is on Saturdays. And it's this college football montage that just gets the boys going.
It is a great video.
It's awesome.
It's not on Instagram? You can't find that?
I'm sure it's on Instagram, too.
Just download TikTok. It's fine. You think that's saving you, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it anyway,
yeah.
dude. It doesn't
They
matter.
got it, bro.
All right,
They ain't trying
Alabama,
to steal
Tennessee
anything
next
off
week,
of
dude.
your Nokia flip.
You never know, dude. It could be used for blackmail. How do you think they get all these politicians and everything, man? It's
All right,
number
now
one
now
thing
we're
in the
going off
book.
the rails with the pod.
All right, Alabama, Tennessee though next week.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
That's
nice.
gonna be a good one.
Georgia,
take
Texas is
Alabama
gonna be
already.
nice too.
Who?
Georgia, Texas is gonna be really good too. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, Georgia has a loss. They could very easily beat Texas. They would have a loss. Alabama has a loss. Like, I haven't played this out. Like, when we get to the end of conference play, especially in like the SEC, how are they gonna like sort these teams? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
they gave like this tie-breaking scenario situation, but it's like it's gonna be tough.
the eye test, dude.
Yeah, the eye test.
What do you guys think about Indiana?
I think they're good, but I don't know. They're not like I don't expect them to go and compete with Ohio State. I think they can.
Schedule's easy, man.
Yeah,
Schedule's easy.
exactly.
They
I
don't
could
play
see them
anybody
being
the rest of the year?
11-1. They play Michigan's like the toughest one, and I think let me pull it up, but it's nothing crazy. They could easily go 11-1.
Oh, yeah, Ohio State, they'll definitely lose that one. But yeah, I agree with you. The rest of the ones.
Yeah,
but Rourke,
Ohio
dude,
State
I like him as quarterback.
is
He's a
the
good
only
quarterback.
ranked person they play except for Michigan, and I doubt when they play Michigan, Michigan's going to be ranked. So
Yeah, probably not.
Guess what? 11-1. They're probably in the Big Ten title game,
yeah,
and they're definitely in the playoff at 11-1.
They don't
Yeah.
do divisions anymore. It's just the two top teams, I'm guessing.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they're going
And
to
in
be
the
same thing.
SEC,
Illinois,
in the
same thing.
SEC, A&M has an easy road.
Yeah.
A&M?
So does Missouri,
Yeah.
but they already
Yeah.
shit the bed.
Yeah, Mizzou. That was fucking tragic last week. It wasn't even a game.
No, it wasn't.
Let's see. Let's pull up the A&M schedule.
Ooh, big homecoming weekend. Rutgers next weekend taking on UCLA.
They should.
You
win
guys
that
gonna
one
be there?
pretty easily.
Paul's going to the
Nah.
fraternity house.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I pass it every day,
the,
man.
He's hosting the pregame.
I work up there, man. They got the letters back up and everything. They got the house back.
Do they?
Yeah,
Wow.
Death cannot kill what never dies.
Yeah.
in Hoke.
In hope.
Yeah, A&M plays LSU, who's got to go to Kyle Field, and then they play Texas, who's got to go to Kyle Field. They could easily have one loss or no losses in the SEC.
Yeah.
That D line is good for them. I like that. But the quarterback, I mean, if Wigman plays like he did last week, I'd say they have a good running in. But it really comes down to that, I think, for them.
The way, like Paul said, the way the SEC is shaping up, even with 2 losses, you might have a chance to win a tiebreaker and get in that title game.
Yep.
I do love that Oklahoma and Texas, they go SEC. I know there's so much more talent there now, but it's just like that much more awesome.
That's what I'm saying. And Oklahoma's not even like they're still down a little bit. Like they're gonna get back, hopefully. To
I mean, they just need a
like
fucking
preeminent
quarterback, really.
program. Yeah, but he ain't coming for a while. I mean, they got a really good like 2026 commit, but that's
Who the
2
fuck
years
knows
away
what that's
from
going to be either. I
when
mean,
he's a
fucking,
freshman.
I know we harp
You
on
really
it a lot,
think
but
Arnold doesn't have it?
I just think he's gone. Like, there's no way that he's gonna take over the reins again. Like, he's gonna transfer. Someone's gonna,
Yeah.
we're not gonna pay him to be the backup. Like, I guess it depends how the rest of the season goes. But I think they're gonna stick with Hawkins, and he's good. I actually do think he can throw it a bit, but he was like a low 4-star, maybe even a high 3-star. Like, we need a dog, dude.
who's to say they won't get a transfer quarterback, though? You never know.
They could, yeah. No, they
Yeah.
they might. They definitely might. The defense is going to remain strong on the Venables, but, yeah, man, I don't know.
All right. We got anything else?
K-State
There you
K-State,
go.
Colorado, 10:15 Saturday night that is must-watch television.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be up watching that for sure.
You have to. Next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. You're setting your fantasy football lineup.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, boys. Cookie, thank you for coming on. Had a lot of fun. Do it again
Appreciate it,
sometime
honestly.
for sure. Great
Don't
insights.
forget to tweet out your picks or give them to me. I'll take them out, whatever you want
send
to
them
do.
to Nolan so he can add them to the Twitter
Perfect.
feed.
But give out that retweet, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, I got you.
All right. Subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe again. Everybody knows the deal. Leave a
No
comment.
sponsors?
Give us a like. No sponsors today. I gave up on that, actually. I
Boba
got
Speed School?
one of my
Oh,
boys
I asked Paul. I'm trying to get involved.
Boba Speed School. Shout out. Cookie's business.
Is it? Boba
Yeah.
Seed.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Hamilton, training
Oh, okay.
athletes all around South Jersey.
There you go. So if you're in Holy Spirit, what is it?
There you go.
The St. Augustines, some of
You're
those
speaking the
powerhouse
right
guys.
language. Absolutely.
Yeah. St. Joe's by the Sea.
I got my
Is that
pulse
still
on
thing?
South Jersey football. Not really.
Yeah. All right. But, yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. All very much appreciated. Boys, see ya.
So yeah, have a good week. Enjoy the games.